Episode 9 Draw for Turn. We're here to bring you commander insights and hot tech to level up your game. Each episode focuses on a different topic with our 4-man pod to give you all our spicy take. It's been 2 weeks. What's been going on? What hot commander games have you guys been doing? What's been new? Anything exciting?
You want to start with me? Start with me as usual.
We'll
Okay.
start with you.
So I've been on like a mad purchasing spree for a deck I'm working on post Zendikar Rising release, which will probably surprise no one as to what I actually want to build. But I've also been on a mad purchasing spree to try to improve my God's Son of Loketra deck, and she works a little bit better now. I basically took out like they usually like a bounce theme to it. So I played all like the white creatures and artifact creatures that return themselves that either return themselves or another permanent or another creature.
No, I think that's reasonable.
Definitely.
But the deck got kind of clunky because of that. Because then you play these creatures for like no value sometimes. It's like if I don't have Oketra out, it's just like I'm playing this thing and then I have to bounce something. It's like
Yeah.
So I'd rather have. So I just went with like still a large creature base. Like there's 40 something creatures in the deck, like 42 creatures, something crazy like that. But most of them are just like straight up good mono white creatures or artifact creatures.
Yeah, fun fact, those exist.
Yeah,
this is true.
I learned the power. You mean like I put some pieces in there to kind of slow the deck down, slow other opponents down a bit. So like imposing Sovereign made its way into the deck. Thalia Guardian of Thraben made its way into the deck. Linvala Keeper Silence made it into the deck. Also,
yeah, you have to protect that board somehow.
Also, like I put a small equipment package in there, so like Stoneforge Mystic made it into the deck. Some swords made it into the deck. Skull Clamp made it. Stratascythe, which I just forgot about until recently, made it in the deck.
Stratascythe makes a lot of sense.
Was it the MVP of our game, Sean? Sword of the Animist? Is that
That's in the deck. Yep.
Proud of you.
Yeah,
good job.
That sword definitely hurt.
Yeah, Sword of the Animist is pretty strong.
I mean, if you're not in green and just trying to ramp, like you should just be playing that.
Yeah, I mean,
anyways.
I give myself every opportunity I can to ramp.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I feel like the problem is still the same problem White's always had. Like, I just run out of cards eventually, but like I'm trying to fix that. But it'll be fine. And then I tried some Canadian Highlander for the first time in this past weekend. And for those of you who don't know, Canadian Highlander is another single-in format based in Canada. You don't have to. Not it's based in Canada. Not that you have to be Canadian to play.
If you're not in Canada, you cannot play this game.
No. So it's a 100-core single-in vintage with a points list. So lots of the good cards are like the big cards are pointed. Like so like example, like you have 10. Like the standard is 10. So example, if you want to play Black Lotus, that's like 7 of your points. So then you have to look through this list of other pointed cards and like spend your other 3 points on something like that. But like 7 points is a huge chunk of your list. But I built this it was like a Teamer Tempo list, and it works out pretty good. I get to run fun cards I haven't run in a while, like Tarmogoyf, Thing in the Ice.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
Oko Thief of Crowns. Good, stuff like that. Yeah. But it's pretty fun if you ever want to if you're interested or want to try it out or play some games with us, hit up our Discord and we'll be happy to arrange some webcam lander
specifically done on our Canadian Discord service and server from our Canadian home office base.
All right, EK said before the show he had a pile of top loaders on his deck. What is instead top loaders?
Well, stuff that we've seen before already, but the newest edition is a Judge promo. It's a Fairies Protection. I don't know if you ever heard of that card.
I have. I got to use it this weekend for the first time in a while.
It's pretty good. Someone I know was selling a bunch of Judge promos like at a significantly reduced cost, and that's the kind of opportunity that you don't take lightly. So I pulled the trigger.
Well, as a collector and a seeker of shiny cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a connoisseur of bling, it's just it's just a good thing to add to the collection. But B, I didn't know I was gonna put one in Nagila, but yeah, I guess now there's a Judge promo to Fairies Protection in Nagila now.
Oh, speaking of which, you actually got to play some Commander for the first time in a while this weekend.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
won.
yeah, I cheesed a win with
I wouldn't say it was
Commander.
I wouldn't say you cheesed it, but go ahead and explain what happened exactly.
So I played Feather, and I didn't actually use Feather until the very, very, very end. But I got to pump a Mirror Wing Dragon up real tall, and then Chandra's Ignition it with Feather out on the board. So I got to cast
everybody Chandra's Ignitions, yeah.
So yeah, I got to do 3 Chandra's Ignitions.
For the price of one, yeah.
Yeah, it completely blew out Sean's board because Sean underestimated the power of playing against Feather heads up and didn't kill me first or second when he went infinite with his 2 outlets.
Oh,
so
yeah. Sean was on the Rexus Thieves and had infinite access to infinite green, but and made people draw. Made two people draw their decks out.
Yeah, but he did not have yeah, because he thought that he could go heads up against Feather.
I think
Sean learned his lesson.
Yeah, I thought my Kraken was fine.
But at the point in that game, like I wasn't the threat. Like, I don't know. If I was in Sean's shoes and like hadn't played against my deck, I probably would have left it up too. But I don't know, like people knowing how powerful Feather is in like standard and other 1v1 formats, like the value you get from that card is just insane.
Yeah, single is the only Boros commander, I believe, is the nickname that LRR gave her. So.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, that was before Winota.
Before Winota, yeah. So. then Winota became the other Boros commander.
Yeah, well, and like I'm sure that they've never played against like Akiri and Bruce Tarl, like the two Boros partners that work pretty well together. Actually,
they're okay.
They're not like high up on the CEDH tier.
No, they're not gonna blow down doors anytime soon. Yeah. But they can do some stuff.
No, but like they can do stuff and they can get greasy. But yeah, our second game. Man, Adam was in that. That game just got completely off the rails.
Well, we had a little help. We had a little help from our hippo god. Praise be.
Praise be the hippo god.
Like,
but
that game was like 6 turns, and it was like the most intense six turns outside of like a CEDH game
a lot happened. I've ever seen.
I don't know if like a lot happened for you guys. I don't know about me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I kind of played a little card that would make any Urza player cry. Archon of Valor's Reach.
Yeah,
you pick a non-land permanent type, and those types of cards can't get played.
Yeah, so
and there's Joyer at the table. And Adam was doing Lion's Eye Diamond loops with Muldrotha as well. So
I was just using it at first just to get some extra mana every turn, considering my hand is basically my graveyard. But it turns out that Archon of Valor's Reach hurt the table pretty much equally. So like, it's
didn't hurt. I don't run artifact. I don't run artifacts in that deck.
Yeah,
I run the 2 boots and that's it.
Yeah, poor Sean played his Joy deck for the first time and didn't get to play anything. Hardly.
Yeah, we were a turn away from Archon of Valor's Reach turning off artifacts, a Vorn clicks on the table, and then I had both pieces of Bruna and Gisela in the graveyard with a way to reanimate them.
Oh well, then Bob, if you're listening, you're welcome.
As my next draw, I had reanimate 2 cards in your graveyard card. So yeah, you can't play cards that cost 3 or less. You can't play artifacts, and if you tap your lands for mana, they don't untap.
It was disgusting.
Meanwhile, there's like 30 power worth of creatures bogging down every turn.
Okay. Sean, what have you been up to?
Getting locked out of playing Jora.
Listen, we'll just play it again, and
I
that
know.
won't happen.
No, I mean honestly, like my whole weekend was basically Commander, save for like Saturday. I was planning up some YouTube videos and stuff, and Friday night I had to end it early because of audio driver issues, which are like all fixed now again. But no, it was a good Commander weekend. Honestly, I had a lot of fun. It was a little sad getting locked out on Jora, but in the defense,
Listen, I tried to free us, but unfortunately, I think unfortunately you just couldn't get free because of the turn order.
Yeah, I mean, the turn order in the game was basically EK was the last to go and I was the first player to start. So EK would have out the Archon, I would go and artifacts would still be nil, and then Adam would go and be able to bounce in and play artifacts, and I'm just sitting here like twiddle the thumbs and but I mean, honestly,
and then because of the hippo and because of Carpet of Flowers, I could basically replay the Archon for net -1 white mana.
Yeah. Which was disgusting. But I will say it was still a fun game. I did at least get to cast Jora.
Yeah.
So.
And then not be able to do anything after.
I mean, I got the player.
Yeah.
That was still good. Like the Ericson Days game was solid. That was a fun one. The one we did after that was really fun too. But no, it was.
The last one. Well, we played Oketra. When I played Oketra, yeah.
Yeah, that was Oketra.
Yeah, that game was real spicy.
Yeah, we were all close on life, which I really it was just fun. But yeah, that was.
Well, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like everyone in that game. At least everyone got to do their own thing.
Yeah. And I tried not to single.
Everyone did something. Swazzo, how about what's new with you?
This is like my least favorite part of the show because I don't ever have anything to add. I worked a bunch and I didn't play any Magic. Can we
you and I talked a lot of Magic.
I was at work, but we were talking Magic.
That still counts. That still counts.
Yeah, he sent me a cool deck today.
Ooh.
About one of the cards that he's going to talk about later that he found.
Sure.
Yeah.
Foreshadow.
All right, cool. So, interrupt on the stack. We've got some news on the stack. We got a minute to talk about various topics in the world of Magic the Gathering. News on the stack. Let's see what's resolving today. Zendikar Rising coming soon to a store near you. Expeditions are back. Showcase cards, they're back. There's the list. That's apparently a thing now. The 300 card list. Set boosters, that's a thing. New Commander product released with every standard set. That's a thing. Lots of stuff coming out, but there is a stagger. They really would have made a press release this past week that there is going to be some issues with the initial shipment. Meaning that there's going to be stagger shipments, which means some of it will come in the week. It will make it on time for release, and then the remainder of it will make it there a week later.
Yeah.
Guys, do you think this is because Magic is trying to release too many products at one time? They're like double the amount of products they normally do.
And they're putting twice the amount of stress on their on their printers, on all the logistics and everything. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I'd say
but the interesting thing to note, the only thing that for Zendikar at least that is getting affected is the collector product, I think.
Oh.
And the commander product.
Collector and commander, okay.
Is what I heard.
Yeah, so
like the regular boosters are good.
The set, yeah, I think the regular boosters, the set boosters, the themed packs, I want to say,
and that's not to say that everyone's not getting everything. They're just not getting as much of certain product as they were supposed
your
to.
Store
and the rest, you're gonna get some of everything, but like it's gonna be like say like half of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, at least in the first release week. But your store will get something, and like this is like going to be printed for a little while because.
If you think about it anyways, like how is this any different than there being like a pre-release with pre-orders versus a regular release the week later with everything else?
Yeah,
I don't view it as much different.
My only concern is the potential time frame with the stagger shipments because it's only a collector's product, that means that those collectors' items could cost significantly more if people can't get their hands on them. It's a secondary market thing.
That's true. Like
But-
someone could
Yeah.
buy and flip a box and profit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you buy the
Yeah,
only
that
three
that first
boxes
week.
your small store gets, no one in your town has them, you triple your money. Like,
Well,
like,
that won't be me. I'm gonna open mine. So.
yeah. But I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it can happen. That's my only concern with it.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Yeah,
if they're
I
gonna
can say-
And it's completely valid.
Mhm.
The nice thing with the commander decks is like across the board they are really solidly priced at just $20 a piece. Like
Yeah,
everyone has it for $20.
and there's no like super note like there's some reprints in them, but there's not anything that's like bust down the.
Well,
door.
there's only three.
There's
only
new cards.
three new cards in each one.
Yeah, everything else is standard base, which is I actually dig the approach of it because like it's an most of the commander.
It's not entirely standard based, but like it is.
Yeah,
a lot. I mean, a lot of it's built on the standard set, but there's a couple. Yeah.
But in terms of like MSRP, I know there's no MSRP, but in terms of retail sell value, normally a commander box is 45 or 50 Canadian wise. These are, I'm seeing them for 25, 30 Canadian, which.
$39.99 is a pretty common American number. And
yeah, but like that, and that's just because that's because there's not a lot of new cards in it, and the reprints there's like 2 or 3 like solid reprints in the deck.
Like I think the Naya Lands one has an Omnath, like a Gruul Omnath come with it. I think. Yeah.
And Admonition Angel. So it's got like
so those are
an $11 card and a $15 card.
Yeah.
But like after that, it drops off hard.
Yeah, and the blue black one comes with I think Sig River Cutthroat and
yep.
What was the other one? Una, Queen of the Fae, which are again like $10, like $10-ish cards.
Yeah,
nothing like super valuable.
Right. It's not like
no, it's not like that. And like the other precons have had like a premium land in the land base, and these don't have that.
Yeah. But I think
for the price point, it's a very good price point.
Yeah. All right. So, do you guys think? So, Alpha Investment said that the stagger shipment thing is going to be something you're going to see pretty much in the future until COVID-19 is basically over. Do you believe that to be true?
Yeah, definitely do. Like, given
that's not unreasonable,
especially since they're coming out with like twice as many products as they normally do.
Well, exactly.
I think that's much more unreasonable than the staggered shipments.
What, they're trying to print twice as much stuff as normal?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the most unrealistic part of this.
I mean, the numbers don't lie. Magic's more popular than it's ever been, especially paper Magic.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because no one's been actually able to play paper Magic.
Well, I mean, able. They shouldn't. Well, okay, technically people shouldn't be playing in person. Will people play in person route? Sure. I have to. People are going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
There's a caveat.
Relative is a term.
Like I know, like the spike feeders, like they like when they do their videos, they haven't been doing as many, but they do it in person. But then there's like a long gap between the next video.
Yeah, because they like self-quarantine for 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah,
before they do the next
they
one.
take it very seriously. Yeah.
Well, and that's because I've looked into this. Because Loading Ready Run has talked about this with their pre-release, and I went back and I watched the previous one not too long ago. So there are laws put in place for quote unquote content creation and filming that they have to follow very strictly.
Yeah,
I can believe that. Definitely.
Whenever possible.
Yeah, so I think
they did their draft in the woods. They literally had to follow these like creation rules.
Yeah. So I think this will unfortunately this will be a thing for the foreseeable future. But honestly, as I like to say in every game of Commando, you'll probably get over it.
Yeah. It'll resolve it.
It'll just become normal, or depending on where you're at, it might not even affect you at all.
Right. All right, moving on to the next item on the stack. So November 4th, Commander Legends release date. Once again, those stagger shipment. So all the product, supposedly all the regular products coming out on the 4th, and the
collector booster only is the week
getting
after
delayed.
Yeah.
No, it's actually 2 weeks.
They're doing a blanket delay. Like no one will have that product at all.
Right, exactly.
Until-
They did this intentionally, so this
Yeah.
is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
We haven't seen very much of this set yet, but spoilers should start pretty soon.
Yeah, and like one of our next couple topics is probably going to be in regards to the set or partner, because that's a cornerstone mechanic of the set, something like that. So
if you're gonna make it a draftable set, like having partner only seems like fitting. But let's not get into debates about stuff in this set. Or
no, that's what
yeah.
I'm saying is like another topic.
Right. Okay. So the last one, I just have a note here. It says Mythic Invitational. I guess that was this past weekend.
Yeah, it was just
it was really cool.
There was some really awesome plays going on this weekend. You did see a lot of wide variety of like goblins and some Sultai, but some of the players and decisions and the gameplay that went on, I wanted to say a shout out. Like, it was solid. There was some.
It was a
shout out
to mistaken, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Congrats to Seth Manfield. He won it today, right?
I think
He did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Welcome back, Gabriel Nassif, to the Magic community. Basically, this guy, like, if you don't know who Gabriel Nassif is, you need to watch the video of him versus Patrick Chafin both on Dragonstorm back when that was a standard deck.
Ignite
And it has like one of the all-time best Pro Tour moments.
Mm-hmm.
Something of like when you there's a good video on Pretty Decent. I think it was a TCG player series.
So.
Where they basically break down statistics of like how unlikely it was that Gabriel Nassif could survive 5 copies of Ignite Memories.
It was unreal. He had to hit the last 3. I think he had to hit the same. Bar.
Yeah, he had to hit Rite of Flame 3 times in a row or something like that.
Insane.
All right, yeah, but so I think that, it's good to see the Historic getting spotlight. I honestly think it's my preferred way to play on Arena.
It's a lot
Even
of
though
fun.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, there are some pretty obnoxious cards on Arena right now. Like, I learned the hard way about Uro this weekend.
Oh, Uro is disgustingly great. And
I mean, that's not that we didn't know. It's just that, like, I play with 1 copy in my Canlander deck, and in our three-man play group, we each have a copy of it, and some of the decks just turn into Uro wars to see who can stick an Uro and let it stay.
Yeah, that's entire formats right now, unfortunately.
I was about to say that's a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So throwing it out there, question
3 formats.
So ban Uro in Standard and Historic? Question mark.
And Modern and Pioneer and Legacy. Just get rid of it.
I don't know. I'm not in a position to judge, but I think it's gonna get really Standard is getting completely upended in like 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
I'm willing to
That's
wait
true.
and see what
Hard to
happens,
tell.
but at the same time, everyone knows Uro works. So
yes,
I think
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're pulling a shock or a basic or whatever. If you're pulling lands and ramping with Uro, chances are something good is happening.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just solid. And I mean, in 2 weeks, all will tell. It'll be interesting to see what happens, especially in landfall-based stuff.
All right. So that's everything.
Can I add?
Yeah,
can I put a split second thing on the stack?
Split second news on the stack.
There was a secret lair announced today. There's a secret lair announced today.
Wait, what?
For they used the Zendikar showcase frame for like classic Zendikar cards.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's it got leaked yesterday, confirmed today, but it's the guy who did like the Omnath and like all the Lotus Cobra and stuff like that. He did an Avenger of Zendikar, a Zulaport Cutthroat, a Goblin, a Royal Elemental, and I forget the black card. No, it's not Goblin Guide. It's whenever this it's a Goblin with double strike, and whenever the Goblin
Ward Instigator.
attacks,
It's a super Goblin.
Yeah,
and the other one's Zagort Cutthroat.
Oh snap!
Yeah. I can't remember what the white card was. Oh, and Royal
Admonition. Admonition Angel, which looks awesome, but I'm not gonna.
I mean,
I'm not gonna buy it, but it's cool. But
depending on what the price is for this,
it's 30 and 40. Same.
Okay. So at 30, I think you almost get your money back because like
Admonition Angels.
Yes, and like I think Royal Elemental's creeping up there too.
Yep, and
Yeah.
Avenger of Zendikar's $10, $11.
Yeah.
So it's worth it, I guess.
Zol-
They look cool. And plus,
Zolaport, Cutthroat, and the Goblin are the 2 cheapest cards, but you pay for you essentially get like the 2.5 other cards, and then get 2 free.
Which is pretty
Yeah.
nice.
And
So,
like, the art's real good, the frame's cool.
yeah, I'm like pseudo interested in this. All right, that's everything resolved for news on the stack. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you are correct. I didn't have any. It didn't have anything more to say.
Yeah. All right, everything resolved for news on the stack. It's time to dive into today's this episode's topic: hot picks from Zendikar Rising, and we're gonna start with Ike, who's gonna properly talk about some Boros cards.
No.
I'm gonna talk about one. So to preface this segment, we gave ourselves homework, and we said find a commander that you're excited about, and then find like another card that you're excited about. So it's essentially like our top 8 cards with a caveat from the set. So I'm gonna start by talking about the commander that I really like, and to no surprise, it's Akiri Fearless Voyager, which is the Boros commander.
Oh,
Called it.
What colors is that? Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a 1, a red, and a white for a legendary core warrior. Whenever you attack a player with 1 or more equipped creatures, draw a card. For a white, you may unattach an equipment from a creature you control. If you do, tap that creature and it gains indestructible until the end of turn. And it has been confirmed that if I attack 3 different players with equipped creatures, I draw 3 cards. So this is the card draw that Boros has been asking for.
And it's in a Boros way.
Yeah, and like this is just a card that you can run in any 99 of a Boros deck and be happy about. But I've been talking with a lot of the other Boros diehards and the content creators,
The Legion,
PJ and Kristen, and we all basically agreed that the reason why you're playing Akiri is because you want card draw in the command zone. You're not actually playing it because it is a win condition, although it's very good. You're just using it to dig into the deck. You're likely to use it for like digging towards like Kiki-Jiki combos, or everyone's favorite go infinite with a limp piece of lettuce from the table over from you card.
Yeah, Kiki-Jiki does combo with a lot of cards.
Yeah, like I don't know. You do like Zealous Conscripts, steal everyone's permanents, and then do that whole thing.
Yeah, or like Village Bellringer, I think is probably the most common one for this card.
Yeah, that one's really, really common too. But so what I did was I picked 3 cards that I really, really like in an Akiri deck that I think you would build the shell around for the deck, and I picked Zerta the Dawnbringer, Kiki-Jiki, and SRAM, Senior Edificer. And SRAM is just more card draw. Zerta just enables what you're trying to do with Akiri better because you just equip everything for functionally free. And then Kiki's your win condition.
Yep. I mean, I can agree with that. Like,
yeah, definitely.
These are just like cards that I feel like end up in a lot of like pretty high powered Boros decks anyway.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not like Akiri is like your be-all, end-all win conditions. She's just enabling your deck to do what it wants to do more consistently.
Wasn't she compared
because
to like...
you're just seeing more cards.
She was compared to like Edric, right? In some sense, because it's a combat damage dealt. I mean, this is only draw for you, but it's the same idea.
No, it's on attack trigger. Edric is also... But like Edric is every creature no matter what.
Right, this is just...
You can draw like 12 cards with Edric.
Right, and this is...
but you're in the card draw. You're in the card draw colors. Boros isn't the card draw colors until now. So it's doing a Boros brand of card draw, which you're just happy to see. And I guess with no further addendum, I will talk about the regular card that I really like. And again, to no surprise,
it's a red card.
Surprise, I picked. Yeah, it's a red card, but it's related to Valakut because Valakut is life. I picked Valakut Exploration, which is 2 in a red Fantman. says landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Pretty good. So, impulsive draw on landfall.
Yeah, really.
But this is where things get real spicy. At the beginning of your end step, if there are cards exiled with Valakut Exploration, put them in their owner's graveyard, then Valakut's Exploration deals that much damage to each opponent.
Oh. Ugh.
So if you can imagine this card with like Scape Shift, a Gruul ramp deck.
Oh.
Yeah, it just this kind of turns into like a group slug cannon kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, but
I'm not even looking at it like group slug. I'm looking at like group burn. This is like Eureka for red.
Yeah.
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 Well, I mean,
on landfall.
That is group slug.
So if you're playing it, yeah, like you're just like bogging down the table and stuff like that. You put this in like Rurik Thar with some extra land drops, and like suddenly people are just taking a bunch of damage whenever you do anything or if they try to do something.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this card's good. I'm not saying it goes in every landfall shell, but like it's still pretty strong. Like, I think the cool part is like, I think like any landfall shell involving green wants this. So like, it's a possible win kind of like.
Oh yeah,
like, getting the slug is really good. I'm not sure. I was saying like this looks and feels like a commander card.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it is. I'm also looking at this. You play this in a deck with a bunch of like rampy creatures. You get like Terror of the Peaks out. Suddenly, I don't know, like, I'm flipping over cards in exile and like, dealing, a couple instances of like 5 or 6 damage to each player because I'm putting like Elder Gargaroth or like Nakia. Or Eldrazi into my graveyard.
Too bad.
But
it's only a shame that Fast Bond is banned in this format. Else, this card would be insane.
Yeah,
I mean, Fast Bond's more insane, but
And the other 2 cards that I picked to like build a shell around this card were Valakut, the land, because if I'm playing like a landfall deck in red, like obviously I'm going to play Valakut so I can get extra lightning bolts. And then I also picked Furnace of Wrath because Furnace of Wrath works with Valakut Exploration. So suddenly me triggering Valakut Exploration with an, I don't know, like Ulamog is 20 damage or Emrakul is 30 damage to each opponent. Like, I don't know.
That is disgusting.
That just seems really, really fun. I would have said Fiery Emancipation, but like you're probably also playing that too.
I definitely think you would, but that's also 6 CMC versus 4 CMC. I think the 4
exactly.
CMC is going to get out faster, but that's disgusting.
I was super excited about that card because like I'm already like turning Windgrace into a Rada deck anyways, and like that just slots right in.
Yeah, that would actually work real well with your Rada.
Yeah, because I'm gonna do like Rada ramp Haymakers.
Okay.
And it just seems to work really, really well.
I think it slots in pretty good. Oh, seeing with that with the Wrath. Oh.
Again, to no surprise, I picked the obvious cards for me. I know what I like.
Well, that is a really good segue to no surprise. Sean, tell us about your cards.
Yeah, I guess kind of along the same way. I also chose cards that are kind of along my flavor. Not so much on the commander aspect though. Like I've been talking to EK a lot and poking his ear, and I'm like, EK, I'm thinking about making a combat-based commander deck that's not like Voltron. And he's been giving me some suggestions, and we've kind of given some ideas. And I'm like, I chose an interesting commander that I actually think I'll try and work in for. Morag, Fury of Akum. The 6-mana 6/6. Each other creature gets +1/+0 for each time it has attacked this turn. And landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control.
And I guess before we continue to discuss this, I will caveat this. the trigger for extra combats stacks. So if you play like 6 lands in that first main phase, you will have 7 combat steps.
Yep.
Right in a row after that.
It's like
Couldn't
actually
you,
low-key
can't you
disgusting.
play them after your second main phase too? It
Yeah,
doesn't
I mean you
say.
could. So
Yeah.
like you could get more if you're playing like Sword of the Animist or
Yeah.
like stuff like that. Yeah.
I don't think you mentioned the coolest part of it though, the creature type.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't say that. The creature type is Minotaur Warrior.
Oh yeah, I officially named this guy Battle Cow.
He is Battle Cow.
Oh
so
yeah. No, it's super cool.
I might low key actually turn this into my mono red commander deck. In
Oh, but we
addition,
just built Hazoret.
we're building 2 now. It's happening. Yeah.
All right.
On the kind of the subject of with the extra combat tricks going with it, cards that I kind of figured might work really well with it, since you're doing additional land drops for combat steps, Hellkite Charger kind of seemed like an obvious choice. I mean, pay 7, get another one. You're swinging
It's
lots.
definitely not the cheapest way to get extra combats, but it is your brand of getting extra combats because it's a dragon.
That's why I went for it. Plus, it's also flying
Yeah.
in haste.
Yeah.
Insurrection, so multiple combat steps with everybody's creature. Huh?
This card for 1 combat step wins games. It's like it's unreal.
Never mind getting more than one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but more than one's always fun.
But
And-
the interesting thing is the creatures don't untap between combat steps. So you need to give vigilance to your stuff somehow.
Oh, that's true. That does make
Yeah.
it a little awkward. I
And
guess.
vigilance isn't a mono red thing.
no, that's true. It's not.
Oh no, yes they do. Yes they do.
Yeah,
they do.
untap
At the
all
beginning of that combat,
creatures.
untap all your creatures you control.
Last line of text.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, why would they give you extra
Yeah.
combat steps if you couldn't
No,
untap your guys?
Just attack. Don't worry. Just attack.
because they want you to go through some extra hoops. Like I don't know. Reading the card explains the card.
Yeah.
Whatever. I said what I said.
You said what you said. It's okay. We all make mistakes.
Well said.
And kind of the last card that I thought just really fit in. I mean, if you're not getting a win with Insurrection, Rage Reflection, because double strike on multiple attack phases.
Also, there's 2 cows on it.
Yeah, that too.
And it rhymes.
It's thematic.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Morag is on there.
Actually, kind of does, and that's the new art with Double Masters that I kind of
Yeah.
for that. But
No, it's really cool. That's just a good card because if you can't get true conviction, Rage Reflection is the next best thing.
exactly, and like it fits into mono red, and I will say I like the aspect that Morag doesn't specifically just come in and run with haste. I think that would have actually made it broken, and I like
Yeah,
that it's a
I
passive
agree.
ability. Like I could literally go 6 mana, slam this down, drop my landfall, and then the creatures I have on board can do the work.
Can we talk about how I completely glossed over the first part of Morag's text?
That's I'm saying that one is huge. Each time they've
Oh,
been
yeah.
attacked, they get +1/+0. It stacks every time they've attacked.
Yeah,
that
they
turn.
keep getting trumpet blasted every time.
Right?
Well, and you'll double dip with double strike too.
I will say this is kind of insane. This
Right?
is actually an insane standard card too.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, yeah,
For a top-end
probably.
standard deck. Yeah, or like you could,
I think Gruul Landfall is going to be a thing in standard.
Oh,
or like if
hands
you're
down, I believe.
or like if you were playing Canlander, this is like a good medium red card.
But
too.
if you play Teamer, you could play Uro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Attack
no, for
Thorough
real
three
though.
times for,
for
6,
real
7, and
though.
8 respectively.
For real though, it will be a team. This is like a teamer card for standard.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do with Win. Like
Cast Uro.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Earl ramps you faster to play this out on like turn
I
5.
hate
Yeah.
the damn
well,
card.
and
Plus, he gives
Uro's
you an
also a
extra drop
6/6.
to
I
to
hate that
trigger.
card so much.
Yeah,
Uro,
well,
man.
well, no. Here's the crazy thing. So if you do this in a teamer deck, you can have weirdly infinite combat steps because every time never mind. It's not dropping. It's not dropping in the main phase. It's dropping in the combat steps. Never mind. But you're triggering all of your other landfall triggers.
Yes.
So you're getting your 5/5 jelly beans. You're getting like
Jelly beans.
your Valakut triggers. Your
Your teamer Kool-Aid man gets bigger.
Yeah.
You get a lot of stuff happens.
I think there's something there. Is
I
what
think
I'm
there
trying
is.
to say.
There definitely is something there. I mean, speaking of stuff kind of there, to no surprise, yes, I chose another dragon.
Of course, I think you took the only one in the set.
It is
Actually,
the only one in this set.
Yeah.
Leyline Tyrant. It is a 4-mana 4/4 with flying, which for relevant stat in flying on a dragon's actually pretty
Just
good.
good, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is just a good body. But the abilities are really sick. So you don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end. So your red mana doesn't leave the mana pool.
So this is mono green Omnath.
This is mono.
Loaded.
Yep, mono green Omnath on a dragon. But when Leyline Tyrant dies, you may pay any amount of red. When you do, it deals that much damage to any target. So pump up the red mana. It dies. You slam something big.
Where'd I put? What's that reserve list card that's really expensive that doubles up all the mountains?
Oh,
yeah.
Not Gauntlet power, right? Gauntlet is
No.
something, right?
yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
But
Yeah, but you can all I don't know. I hate to say it. You play this in Gruul with Seaborn Muse, and you just
Here's a
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of red mana.
you do the DJ wicka whack kind of thing,
you
and like
also depending on how you do things, Wilderness Reclamation.
oh yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah.
God, it really just seems like all of these red cards are good with green.
They
It's almost as though they were allied colors.
almost
Yeah.
like it.
Mm.
But like some fun synergy stuff I kind of picked with it. So like Nahab the Eternal.
It's because he's a cow, isn't it?
No, it's because like Nahab is gonna be
Mhm.
your commander for your mono red deck with Leyline Tyrant.
Exactly.
I mean, he's pretty good.
He is
Yeah.
pretty good, but yeah, I chose him for that because it would be like the commander potential for that deck. Like at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add a red to your mana pool. Sorry, post-combat main phase, add a red for each life lost by opponents this turn. So you're funneling in red mana to put into the pool and leave there for when Leyline Tyrant potentially dies.
Yeah, or to just use
Or to just
with like
cast,
a
yes.
like a Banefire or something like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just something like a big X spell, something that's gonna hit. Even Earthquake, unless you want to like kill yourself, unless your life
Oh,
is higher. But
Fireball.
Fireball, yeah.
Old school.
I mean, it's true though.
It is.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, just drop into a giant comet storm or everything or something like that. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
Comet Storm would work. Like, there's just a lot you can hit in with this. Like another one I suggested was Dragon Tyrant, more so just because it has fire breathing.
Also, it's a dragon.
It is also a dragon with Double Strike, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
But I think the biggie is this next one though.
Yo, this is a
Yeah.
big one. So, for those that may remember from Cold Snap, there was an enchantment called Braid of Fire, and this was pretty. I don't want to say it was bad, but it did have some uses.
Well, it was
Prior-
bad. It was bad in the sense that there was mana burn.
Yeah, it hurt in the mana burn. So this was cumulative upkeep. Add a red mana to your mana pool. When mana burn was a thing, this only saw play in very limited decks because you had to use the mana during your upkeep. Otherwise, it would phase. You'd take damage. That sucked. Mana burn went away. Braid of Fire got better. You still had to use the mana during your upkeep, but at least you didn't die. But with Braid of Fire now in Leyline Tyrant, that cumulative upkeep red mana just keep funneling it in every turn. And then you just go big.
Really good.
Yeah, I own about a dozen of these just because they were really cheap at my old shop, and I said there's got to be a way to break this.
Cool.
I'm gonna
artwork.
buy you out.
I think we're looking at it now.
Yeah,
Hey,
no, this is the card.
Want to sell me that Braid of Fire, EK?
The moment you've been waiting for.
Yeah, no,
To
exactly.
To cash out on your Braid and Fire investment.
No, I mean I'm gonna keep them. I think it's a great card.
They're gonna be
No,
more
it is good.
valuable later.
Honorable mention to another card that was I would say Pyrrhemia would be really good on this list.
Yes.
You can
Yeah,
just
yeah.
store a bunch of mana to use later on Pyrrhemia.
I mean the way I look at this card is,
Although
you
it
know,
does kill you too, so you kind of have to be careful.
I mean,
Yeah.
I look at this card like it's mono green Omnath for red,
Yeah.
or it's Krufix for red.
Yeah.
Groovy.
Or like if you were even if you were like an artifacts based deck, like storing the red mana to sink into like big artifacts or whatever seems
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. Like,
Well, and red has a lot of like really good artifacts that it can take advantage
Yeah,
of.
I'm saying like you could like Doretti Scrap Savant, we could probably use this guy really well.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
support piece.
definitely.
Like Bosch Iron Golem can use this for like to play and fling artifacts at will.
Yeah.
Like,
Bling.
Oh, and then you have the mana to set up a recursion engine as
Yeah.
well. It's
So
like
I-
you just normally wouldn't have.
So as I was, do you think Bosch's ability is more of a yeet or a Kobe?
think it's more of a yeet. But like, I would love to see him yelling Kobe when he shoots it, but it's definitely more of a yeet. I don't think there's any articulation to it.
We're the generation that used to yell Kobe when we would shoot like balls of paper at the garbage can, and I intend on keeping that alive. So if I ever build
he is going for accuracy. He's aiming right at your face. So
yeah, exactly. And like that's Kobe to me. Yeet is just like I'm carelessly throwing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of.
I see both. I don't disagree. I think that flinging it does imply that you're adding like some sort of accuracy to it. I just don't know that a big iron golem has that just the ability to do that.
And like he is built too, so he's just built for brute strength as opposed to like articulation. Yeah.
Bosch Commander deck, anyone?
I was thinking about it recently, Ashley. But anyway, let's move on to my pick. Picks.
Yours are very on theme.
Yeah. So turns out there's a lot of tribes in this set, namely of the party variety. So all the subclass tribes got support for party mechanics.
Big time.
For those of you who don't know, that it's warrior, rogue, cleric, wizard. So they each got some legendary that has to do with. I think the warrior didn't get one, but all the other ones did.
Warrior's the Minotaur, Morag.
Well, no, he doesn't care about warriors, is what I'm saying.
Oh no, correct, yeah.
No, he just happens. He is a member of the party. He's not a party payoff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's not. He doesn't care about warriors. But anyway, so I was gonna do like 4-color Omnath, but like we can talk to the end of the earth about that guy, and
everyone
said it's already what you said.
Yeah. Everyone's already trying to do that deck anyways.
Yeah, and then I was going to talk about Anawan, but it's not technically in the set. It's in the Commander product, so that didn't count. Also, Command Zone already pretty much said everything I wanted to say, so I really can't add to that. So today I'm going to talk about Aura, Skyclave Hierophant. He costs two colorless, a white and a black, for a 3/3 legendary core cleric. Aura has lifelink, and it says, whenever Aura, Skyclave Hierophant, or another cleric you control dies, return target cleric with a lower converted mana cost from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this guy cares about clerics and reanimation and things dying, which is everything that Orzhov likes.
I was about to say, it's everything that Orzhov likes, but it's in a combination and a context that has never been done before.
Right.
Yeah.
So and the good thing is, and because of the rules change, this guy becomes relevant now because he can actually die. You can actually send him to the command zone and he'll get a trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
So if the rules change wasn't there, this would not be as good. But now it is as good. And I picked up some cards that I think go play really well with this guy. First one that came to mind is one that was exploited to great effect by our Lord of Value, Josh Lee Kwai. It's a guy called Edgewalker.
This card is disgusting.
It's a card from Onslaught block. It's 1 colorless, a white and a black for a 2/2. I think it's a human cleric. And it says cleric spells you play cost white black less to play. The effect reduces only the amount of colored mana you pay. You pay. For example, if you play a cleric with converted mana cost generic and a white, it costs a generic to play.
That's colored mana reduction. What?
Yeah,
that's like one of the only cards. It's one of the only cards in the history of Magic that has this.
Yeah, this and Morphon are one of the few, or like the only two creatures I can name off the top of my head that did colored mana reduction. But basically, Josh Lee Kwai used this in a great effect in his Athreos Shadowborn Apostles deck to make the Shadowborn Apostles free because they are clerics.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So I think this guy fits the shell. He makes all your guy. It makes it easier to pay for your dues, and especially since a lot of them are have like 1 pip or 2 pips. Some of them have both, so you can get a lot of discounts here. So you save a lot of mana with Edgewalker out. Next card I want to talk about, also from Onslaught block, because that was also a time when the game cared about clerics. But they also cared about zombies, and Rotling Reanimator is a 2/2 zombie cleric for 2 and a black that says, whenever Rotling Reanimator or another cleric is put in a graveyard from play, put a 2/2 black zombie creature into play. So, we want things to die, right? That
Yeah.
means, and I would like to get the value for those things dying, even if our commander's not out. So that means if something if this or another part guy or dies, we get he leaves behind a 2/2, which is really great. And if you have Aura out, you get to res a guy too. So you get like more, like your clerics turn into more dudes basically.
It's just going to be like, I don't know, a deck like this is just going to be impossible to clear the board.
It's going to be very difficult.
That's the way I'm looking at it.
It's going to be very difficult because if you try to like wipe out a large cleric board, they're going to like a lot of them are like some of them are going to come back.
I feel like the only way you could really handle that is with a mass exile effect.
Yeah, a mass exile effect. Yeah. I would say like if like having a rest in peace or a ley line of the void would hurt this deck a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you would get nothing back.
I mean, it's the same case for like any graveyard deck though.
Yeah, this is like a pseudo graveyard deck. Like we care about things going into the graveyard and coming out of it, but we're not like actively. Like we could actively try to manage our graveyard and like put things there. Yeah, we don't have to do that. I will also say this because it's Orzhov. We always, they like aristocrats, and this guy plays it in the same way. Although he cares about a certain kind of card that aired in the aristocrat shell. So I think that's kind of cool. I think we can say, I'll just briefly mention some other cards. I'll briefly mention like Tana. I think Tymna and Ravos are really good cards for this deck. Like Tymna the Weaver and Ravos Soul Tender, but
they're clerics.
They're getting expensive, so I wouldn't want to suggest them to anybody. Like Tymna's like over $50 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's very good. If you can get your hands on a Tymna, I suggest you do so. At least Ravos, I don't know if you necessarily need him for this deck, but he does lord up your board, and you get to Gravedigger Cleric back every turn, and he's a very expensive, very high mana costed cleric.
Yeah.
But speaking of high mana costed clerics, let's talk about another one that will help you get your clerics into the graveyard. A good little card, I'm sure Swazo may be a fan of too. For Modern Horizons, Yawgmoth 3rd edition is a 2/4 human cleric that costs 2 black. He has protection from humans, and he says he has 2 abilities. The first is pay a life, sacrifice another creature, put a -1/-1 counter on up to one target creature, and draw a card. So he gives you card draw. He lets you bin your clerics. You get clerics back, which you can then bin them to get another cleric back. And if that wasn't enough, this Yu-Gi-Oh mess of a magic card also has black, discard a card, proliferate. So you can start infecting out your opponent's creatures.
Infecting clerics.
All right. So yeah, Yawgmoth is a pretty good. We want sacrifice engines in our deck, and Yawgmoth's a pretty good one. But if you want to go one on the cheaper end, we can also look at Modern Horizons for one. We have Etchings of the Chosen, which is an enchantment for a generic white and a black. As Etchings of the Chosen enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures of the Chosen type get +1/+1, which is good because your clerics are pretty weak as far as power and toughness. Most of them are 2/2s or 2/3s or some small number. In comparison to the large monsters you see in Commander, that's a little daunting. But it does have the ability for a generic, you can sacrifice a creature of the chosen type. Target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. So if they want to try to take out like Yawgmoth or Aura or your Edgewalker or an essential piece of your I assume aristocratic puzzle, you can protect them this way. And if you have Aura out, you have the chance of getting something else back. And then 2 other cards I want to mention really quickly. Have you ever wanted to resurrect a Planeswalker from the graveyard over and over again? Well, you can, because Liliana Heretical Healer on her face side is a human cleric that's a 2/3 that costs 1 generic and 2 black. She has lifelink, and she says when another token creature, when a non-token creature you control dies, exile Liliana Heretical Healer, then return to the battlefield transformed under her owner's control. If you do, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token into the battlefield. Then she flips over to basically what's the equivalent of I want to say like a wall, like I'll call it what it is, a Walmart Liliana of the Veil.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I believe the term is great value.
Sorry, great value. Yes, a great value Liliana of the Veil.
Don't you mean Costco?
Yeah. So what that means is that you can use the flip Liliana. If she dies, she'll go. If she goes back to the graveyard on her face side, she can be resurrected with your other clerics that die. You can get the Planeswalker back and use it again And Liliana the Veil is pretty powerful. So I don't know if you haven't played against her before,
She's
Commander
okay.
players. And then for the icing on the cake for the ultimate Timmy experience with clerics, if we're going to be putting a lot of these clerics in the bin, why don't we just get them all back at the same time? Patriarch's bidding if a sorcery for 3 generic and 2 black, because each player chooses a creature type, and each player returns all creature cards of the chosen type from their graveyard to the battlefield. So when you name clerics and you get all your clerics back, and if they're not playing tribal, they won't get much back. You're gonna be feeling pretty good about this.
Oh, it's only 5 mana too, so it's not like it's like
you're not breaking the bank. This is like
the
top end of Commander.
Yeah, functional top end.
Yeah. So there's a living death that specifically doesn't help anybody other than you for the most part. Well, it shouldn't. If you're playing if there's another tribal deck at the table or one that has a lot of common creature types, there's a lot of humans.
Yeah, if you're playing against me, this doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
There's a lot of humans in Commander, and
they
can all come back. But this card, but for the most part, I would say at least 70% of your games, this won't be punishing to you, at least.
Well, I mean, chances are you're probably going to be able to leverage half a dozen clerics more than someone's going to leverage, I don't know, a dragon, 2 dragons.
I mean, I'd rather take the clerics over the dragons at that point, based on.
So other than that, I would just look at building aura with kind of an aristocrat shell with a focus with the cleric sub theme. I think you can go really far with that, honestly.
Sure.
So card for this I think is most interesting. So we're going to talk about a legendary creature that should by no means be your commander, but should go in the 99 of your deck if you like to make your opponents cry. And that is Yasharn, Implacable Earth. He's a 4/4 for 2 generic and a green and a white for a legendary elemental boar. When Yasharn enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic forest and a basic plains card, reveal them, put them in your hand, and shuffle your library. Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. This is an absolute gem of a hate bear and takes care of problems that were up until recently not solved by any other hate bear.
You're wrong about that because that is the same text as Angel of Jubilation.
Right, but this is but hang on, let me stand on my soapbox for a minute about this guy. So I'm going to give you guys a small laundry list of things you cannot do because if this card is out. You can't activate Necropotence. Ever. Ugh. You can't use Bowls of Citadel. Either part. Ever. You can't pay Phyrexian mana cost. Ever. So you will never, ever have to deal with a turn 2 crick ever again. You can't use altar effects like Phyrexian Altar, Ashnod's Altar, Altar Dementia, or Yawgmoth Transposition. Nothing can. You can't. Yeah. You can't feed your dorks to an aristocrat like Goblin Bombardment or Falcon Wrath Aristocrat. You can't use Treasonous Ogre to pay red mana. You can't use Reanimate, Chainer Dimension Master, or Phyrexian Delver. You can't use any onboard bomber cards such as Pernicious Deed, Oblivion Stone, Nevdis. None of this works because this pig is out.
That's disgusting.
This is Angel of Jubilation.
Yeah, but no one plays Angel of Jubilation because
they don't because they're not me.
Well, they're not you. Also, Angel of Jubilation costs. She's like 4 mana too.
She's 4 mana, but she's 3 white pips.
Right, but does she come with?
It's a restrictive cost that doesn't do this thing that you're about to mention.
But does she come? Does she come with 2 lands? I forgot to mention that. This guy gives you 2, lets you pick up 2 basics from your deck when he comes into play.
Yeah, so it's like super pseudo cultivate on top of this angel.
And it's a 4 mana 4/4.
Yeah, there is actually a deck that you could build around this though.
I think Casually Competitive tried it this week, and I'm not sure what the results were.
I mean, so I would do Selesnya Hate Bear enchantments.
Yeah, I can see this guy commanding a Hate Bears deck, but I'd rather just put him in a Hate Bears deck.
Sure.
Yeah. So this guy is super good if you want to slow down the game and muzzle certain strategies in the format.
I mean, it's not just muzzle; it's complete shutdown.
Yeah. Also, he comes with a hilarious nickname, the Hate Boar.
I'm for it. I'm for it.
All right. Wrapping up, Swazo to probably talk about a blue card.
It's got blue in it, but I was actually really disappointed that there's only one blue card I could have chosen, and it's the crab. And I just didn't want to do that.
You mean you weren't super juiced about talking about Blue Death Shadow? But worse.
I've been thinking about it. It's just like this big booty crab, and it's like I don't know. It just didn't do it for me.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. I know him well.
I mean, there is a home for it.
4 mana 0/17.
Yeah, you give it Defender and play it in Arcades.
There you go. I almost picked our Hate Boar. I thought that was a pretty cool card, but I couldn't figure out how to make it the commander of the deck.
I think it's just a little difficult, but go on.
Yeah, he just shuts things down, and then you got to figure out some other shit to do.
But sometimes he does nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So instead, I decided to just again, EK brought it to my attention that this is young Steven having a little fun again, and I picked Zareth San the Trickster. He costs 3 generic and Dimir colors, a blue and a black. He's a legendary creature, Merfolk Rogue, with Flash. And can we call this Rogue Jitsu?
Yeah,
I'm for it.
It's what it is. It's what it is.
For 2 and blue-black, return an unblocked attacking rogue you control to your owner's hand. Put Zareth onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. So ninjutsu, but for rogues, not ninjas. And when it deals combat damage to a player, you may put target permanent card. Target permanent card.
So this is strictly better than in guys, is what you're saying.
Permanent card.
It does have to be in your hand.
Graveyard.
It does have to be in your hand. You can't rogue jitsu it from the zone.
No, the second ability though. What?
The second ability is pretty strong.
It's worth it.
You're absolutely right. And to be honest, this deck that I have in mind doesn't even involve rogues. We're actually never rogue jitsuing it out. It's just going to be a Voltron deck. But we're just dealing damage with this guy. But the whole point is to just steal all of your stuff. I nicknamed him Mr. Steal Yo Girl because we're just coming in and we're going to mill out our opponents and take their win conditions. I've been talking about this deck for weeks, okay? I said I wanted to make a deck that took other people's win conditions, and we finally have my commander.
Because they can't get mad at you when you play their win condition.
Yeah.
To steal your line.
So, exactly. They're going to be mad at me, unfortunately, because it's a mill deck, and who doesn't hate that? But the card that goes best with it from Zendikar does happen to be a crab. It's just not the crab I thought I was going to pick. Ruin Crab for 1 blue. It's a creature crab with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 3 cards.
So it's like strictly better Hedron Crab.
It is a strictly better Hedron Crab for Commander. So a lot of the deck that I kind of have in mind for this is more of a Voltron build, but some cards that just work so well with this card. Dreamborn Muse is one of them. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts the top X cards from his or her library into the graveyard, where X is the number of cards in their hand. A lot of cards in hand in Commander, so people are just constantly turning cards over for you to steal.
Well, and I could imagine that you would probably run like some other force other players to draw cards.
For sure. There's all kinds of stuff in here, but mainly we're focusing on just putting giant chunks of cards in people's graveyards and then finding a way for Zareth to get through. And Dread Summons is a card that comes to mind. X and double black, it's a sorcery. Each player, God, I love each player, puts the X top cards of his or her library into the graveyard, and for each creature that was in there, you create a tapped 2/2 zombie token.
Yikes.
I think that card's neat.
Yeah.
It's cool, but again, I think the zombies are just extra. We're really just putting things into the graveyard at this point.
Yeah.
Another card, Extract from Darkness. It's a sorcery for 3, a black and a blue. Each player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into the graveyard. If there happened to be a creature, then put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Doesn't have to be one of those 2 cards, which is kind of cool.
I just think like this guy's kind of cool because he cares about permanence, not just creatures.
Yeah.
I can't believe it says permanence. I actually, until halfway through this episode, thought it was creatures, and I was still building it.
You want to know the sad thing with this? I think what's going to happen a lot of the time is you're just going to use it to pull lands out of people's graveyards and ramp yourself.
That is a completely reasonable thing because there'll be lots of lands when I cast my next card, and I made a note.
Well, I was about to say you're playing the color combination that ramps the worst.
But it does one thing really well, and I want to make note that I put this on our Google spreadsheet. It takes up an entire page. Like the artwork is like literally 8 by 11 and a half artwork.
Yeah, we have Greg Staples' masterpiece staring right at us right now.
For 3, a blue, it's a sorcery. Traumatize. Target player puts the top half of his or her library rounded down into his or her graveyard. Now, milling people is just mean. Like, I get it. That's just a horrible thing to do. There is a reason for that, though, besides just stealing all their stuff. This deck would work really well playing things like Fraying Sanity.
Yeah, I would say like Codex Shredder would be really good for this deck.
Yeah, definitely got those things in mind. Like Fraying Sanity is at the beginning of each end step, target player puts X cards into his or her graveyard, where X is the number of cards that were put into the graveyard from anywhere this turn.
Yeah, so that means Traumatize just flat.
Traumatize is lethal. Like you're just gonna mill out somebody.
On Ludovic, the Jumpstart card.
Oh, Bruvac.
Yeah, Bruvac.
Yeah, where you double the amount if you were to mill a card, double the amount that's milled.
Oh, where is it? Here's another Fleet Swallower. 58 cents for this gem. 5 and 2 blue. Whenever it attacks, target player puts the top half cards of his or her library rounded down into their library. It's Traumatized on a stick. And again, with Fraying Sanity, it's just just full library gone.
Well, and like, I don't know, you could play Sword of Body in Mind in this deck too.
Yeah,
that's Mill 10.
Yeah,
this
Mill
one,
10.
The list I have in mind has Body of Mind, Vengeance, Animus. We got swords, man. We got
man.
There's 23 artifacts in this one. Trust me, I don't stray away from what I know best.
Yeah, you know your lane.
As I said, Mericor would be a good ad for this deck too. I think that just goes for any deck that wants to fill up their graveyards.
Yeah.
Especially since you don't care about what kind of card it is, as long as it's permanent. So like,
I just can't believe that it says permanent.
Yeah, it's like as I said earlier, strictly better ink, guys.
Quite literally.
It's crazy. I think the coolest part of it is the rogue jitsu, but like I don't even intend to ever use that.
I mean, there are a good amount of rogues that can like sneak in and get damage. So like you can.
Well, I mean, the big thing is like you really can't use it because if it's in the command zone, the command zone's not your hand.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can like command beacon them to your hand, I guess, but that seems like kind of like a roundabout way to do it.
Yeah,
knows about him too, so it defeats the purpose of the surprise.
Yeah, but I think you're just like jamming this guy out and then like suiting him up for battle, get him in there.
Yeah, get like a Rogue's Passage in that deck, or like Trailblazer Boots. You know,
now we're talking.
Something like that.
I mean, yeah, you play that, throw some Lightning Greaves on him, and go to town.
Well, and like blues, the one combat thing that blue can do is make things unblockable. So
yeah, you can even.
It'll be pretty easy to make this thing unblockable pretty often.
You can even do something cheap like Aqueous Form or something like that.
Aqueous Form is the first one on my list, exactly.
Yeah. It's a pretty cheap card too.
There are the cheap options. Wing Crafter, you can pair him up with this guy and give him flying. It's a decent one. If you give this guy Intimidate, it would be really hard to block.
Oh yeah. You can't give him Double Strike with Fire Shrieker, things like that.
Double Strike. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, so it's actually I picked it because I was really frustrated, to be honest, that I couldn't find a commander that I liked, that I actually fell in love with him. So it's really a cool card.
So when do we get to see this commander deck?
Soonish. I'm working on it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like cockatrice this a couple times to
test it out.
Yeah, just to test it because it is different.
It's super weird. I have a list up in front of me. That's super weird.
I have the list you sent me up too.
I think the Jumpstart card you're talking about was that Bruvac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could make a whole deck around that.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah, I think if you were playing Bruvac, you would just play Bruvac.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's the idea. That's the idea. You would make a Brewback deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say like having Brewback in the 99 isn't as good as having it as your commander.
Agreed.
But I mean, it's your deck. You should do what you want. I'm always a big fan of that.
That's kind of and see that's the thing, and maybe this is for a later episode. That's what I'm
Ooh.
afraid of in Commander is
Okay.
that it's not
Okay.
taking away so much about the fun of your deck, but it's like that card's just better. Play the better card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's still a good amount of rogues that can make the deck, like Invisible Stalker, Notion Thief's a really mean one.
Yeah.
Unis Blackguard's a really good one.
And I'll fully
Boomerang
agree that
Prowler, yeah.
I'll fully agree that Rogue is not where I went with the deck. It has like a couple
Yeah,
Rogue
it's just
tops.
it's just like
Yeah.
because he starts in the command zone, like the whole like you can pretty much just ignore the first part of his thing.
Exactly.
Unless you like have a way.
I'm looking at the list. I'm looking at the list right now. There's literally only one other rogue in this deck, and it's Agent of Treachery.
That's a fair one though.
Seems like a good one.
There's like everything else is like one ofs, like Illusion,
A
God,
really good one to return to your
Sir
hand.
Conrad, Construct, Avatar, Crab,
Nothing
I
Um,
don't know. I don't. I mean,
Vampire
I
Shade.
I mean,
think this
something-
guy. I just think this guy's kind of neat.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's got
it's
some-
just it's different.
It is. I was gonna say like another fun card you might want to look at too is like Notorious Throng. Have to
Yeah,
deal
you
combat
can
damage with
yeah.
Rogue.
Yeah, all you have to do is deal damage with your guy here.
Yeah.
Play
So,
it,
A, you
prowl
get it-
this card out, get some fairies,
Yeah.
and then take another turn.
Yeah. Which is pretty
Okay.
good. All right. Well, this is exciting. I'll be honest. I'm really excited to see the Zendikar set come to life, and we're only like a few days away from early release. I don't
You're
know.
doing that. You get to do
Oh,
that.
yeah, it hits Arena. The streamer event for it is tomorrow, and it goes live on Arena on Thursday.
No, it's Wednesday night actually.
Okay.
Stream event's Wednesday night, and I will be doing the streaming event for it. But yeah, we get to do a streaming event Wednesday night for Arena, and then Thursday it goes live on Arena.
Real quick before we get off the topic of Zendikar, can we talk about how no one talked about this one card in the set that could probably be like a commander staple for a long time to come? Confounded
5/7.
Confounding Conundrum. It's a 1 and a blue for an enchantment. It says when Confounding Conundrum enters battlefield, draw a card. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if that player had another land enter the battlefield under the controller's turn, they return a land they control on its hand. That means you can either ramp or play a land, but you can't do both.
I forgot that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you're gonna play that in like in an what's that card? Evacuation.
I think so. It's like
The one that says when you tap to play something, you return a land to your hand.
Yeah.
So you just bog them down with effects like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this card could probably like do some work in the format, especially in like Stack's got 2 new friends. They got this and they got the Archon of Emeria. Don't even get me started there.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, I think the cool thing with this set is this set doubles down on a lot of stuff that a lot of people are already doing in Commander. Like we got aristocrat cards, we got landfall cards, we got some combat cards. Like it's just overall like a good set.
Yeah.
It looks fun.
Nothing
I think
like sticks out.
I'm
too
excited to see
powerfully.
what happens with Party. To be honest,
Yeah.
Yeah, someone will do it. Someone will do it.
yeah.
I'm not sure there's really a payoff in Commander for that, but like,
But I mean, like there's the D&D set coming next year instead of the core set. Like
true.
maybe that's when the payoff comes.
Yeah.
But like the stage is set for like Party to do like something in the casual format, or like the casual pods.
Agreed. And I mean, they have a Tazri for Party too. So like, there's a
Yeah.
potential good setup. Support is there, and potentially more coming.
I forgot about that Tazri too.
Yeah, she's pretty sweet. We don't know
When you said you were disappointed we forgot about a card, I thought you were talking about the 5/7 that doubles landfall triggers.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, that's the thing too.
You listen. They had, you know the nickname I have for it is that thing, my nickname for that card is that thing is reach, and that's what
Yeah.
your opponent says as soon as they attack you, and there's
Yeah.
flyers like that thing is reach.
Okay,
Oh, I call it land harmonicon.
Yeah,
my one
I,
gripe.
I think everything you said needs to be said about you can say
Yeah.
about Ancient Green War had already been kind of solved already. So
Yeah,
just
yeah,
that
yeah.
card.
We all knew where it was going. There's no questions asked.
I have one gripe with one card in this set. The stupid legendary crab that I love to death doesn't have reach.
No, it's a giant crab, and like
Yeah.
why?
Explain
Why?
to me how-
Because crab arms aren't very long.
I guess he lives.
Yeah,
I
they're
guess,
like
I guess if he's under the sea, he can't reach up into the sky. But he's a humongous crab. He's the biggest crab.
Yeah. That's my one gripe.
It's-
But anyways.
What's the
crab
next
shadow.
one?
Well, guys, this was fun. I'm excited. Zendikar is going to be pretty sweet. As always, everyone, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter is @DrawForTurn, and on Instagram is @DrawForTurnPodcast. We post weekly different discussion topics, fun little tips and tricks. If you want to get on the action, drop us a follow and let us know. What card from Zendikar are you most excited about? What is going to be your new Commander Brew coming up?
Oh, I mean, Omnap.
I mean, you got a point.
Yeah, I mean, I've already been getting pieces for it, so it's coming.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone's looking forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Someone had to do it.
I just think I think it's a commander that's like good, but still like unsolved, and you can do a lot with it.
Yeah, agreed.
I definitely agree with that. All right, well, leading us to the closing, Adam, you want to take us through, my friend?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at @DES_AdamN. I like a lot of posts from Rose Waterstone because that Twitter's hilarious. Shout out, as always, to my local game store, Stop That Games in Westmont, New Jersey, and the comic book store in Glassboro, New Jersey. Always providing me with expensive cardboard to satiate my lust for having money. Well, they don't really satiate my lust for having money. They quash my lust for having money. EK.
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch chat at EK Plus Cards. Shout out to my local game store, Games Plus in the Chicagoland area, and my adopted online local game store, Next Ridge Games in Tampa, Florida, because Papa Mark has been hooking me up recently.
Yeah, go follow that guy on Twitter, by the way, if you want some cool deals on some good bling.
The rule of thumb, every other weekend, there's like a Twitter blowout sale involving pizza and blingy cards and all, just really, really good deals. And he and Rusty are just really, really nice people. So I like supporting them too.
You had me at pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get pizza for this? Anyway,
If you sell them a collection, they will send you a pizza. They will DoorDash you a pizza as a thank you.
Okay, sure.
I am intrigued. Well, you guys can find me at Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at AstrosFlame. I stream a mix of MTG Arena, motivational talks, and games. Friday nights, I'm hosting our Commander Pods, and I guess on Sundays now as well, because that happened and was really fun.
Sunday Fun Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Untap and Unwind Sunday Fun Day is coming to you live at some point when we figure out another logistic. But I think it's going to be coming. Shout out to Harry Tarantula and 401 Games in the Toronto area. They helped me finish Palladium Wars, the third of my Elder Dragon EDH collection deck.
Yay.
So that's coming to Commander Nights this Friday night.
Sweet.
Swazi, what about you, friend?
I'll be brief. You guys can find me in Twitch chat at SwazoTV and on Instagram at Stevie Swazo. That's about
Ooh,
it.
plug in something new this week.
Ooh.
Little bits here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he and I have been working on some other non-Magic related stuff, and I'm excited for that if people are into like the outdoors. So
Low
It'll
key
be fun.
gonna go drop a
yeah,
follow.
I'm super excited.
All right,
oh my
guys.
God, Return followed me. Oh my God.
Oh my
Right.
god, oh wow. Well, as always, everyone, remember untap, upkeep, support your local game store, and
Draw for turn.
Draw for turn.